Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Jennifer, and this is a true crime video. And for true crime and story time, I am going to be diamond painting. That way I can divide it up evenly in the channel, so that way you guys don't feel like, oh, wait a minute, this is all she's doing. So, before we get started, those of you that are new, welcome. And thank you for stopping in and checking out the channel. And if you like what you see, you can hit the subscribe button or the like button. So I know it's been 9 months since I did a true crime video. I feel like, oh my gosh, when you're sick, you just don't feel like doing diddly crap. And so, yeah, it took me a while to get back into the groove. So we're going to pick up back into the True Crime Corner. And we are going to be, those of you that are new, I do True Crime Corner. I used to do it every Thursday. And so with that, what I do is usually, pick something that nobody, cases that nobody has heard of, or cases that, whatever. And if you guys, find a case that you are, would like me to talk about, you can put it down below in the comment. So we're going to get started. We're going to talk about Keith Hunter Jesperson. Don't know if I pronounced it right. Disclaimer beforehand, if I pronounce it right, if I get something wrong, I apologize. Okay. So he was born August the 6th, 1955. And he was a Canadian-American serial killer who murdered at least 8 women. And, let's see, in the United States during the early 1990s. Now, y'all are going to laugh at this, but he's called the Happy Face Killer. Yeah, that's what I said when I saw that. I was like, what? So, it can't get any more hilarious than that, right? But anyway, so yeah, now the reason that he's called the Happy Face Killer is because he drew smiley faces on many of the letters that he sent to news media and to prosecutors. And now I'm thinking this was some kind of a taunt, or, I don't know. I'm assuming that this is how he wanted to be recognized. And many of his victims were prostitutes or transients. And I guess he just assumed, nobody was going to miss them just because of, the fact that, they were homeless, or they were, working girls. I don't know. And, of course, then the other reason is they had no connection to him whatsoever. So, it was kind of like, that way they couldn't figure out who he was and all that good junk. So, we're going to get into his background first. And then we're going to go. Now, he was born in British Columbia in a town called Chilliwack. Yeah, okay. He was married to Rose Huck. They got married in 1975, and they had 2 children. One of them was Melissa Moore, and they don't tell you the others, I'm assuming, because of, they don't want publicity, which I can say is very understandable. Let's see. So now where am I? His early life was, I'm skipping around, so you have to bear with me. No, I'm not prepared. He was born to Leslie and Gladys Jesperson. And they, like I said, they lived in a town called Chilliwack, British Columbia. And he was the middle child with 2 brothers and 2 sisters. His father was an alcoholic and also very domineering. And his mother doesn't say much about his mother, but Jesperson claimed that his paternal grandfather was very violent, which I guess, I'm not making light of, serial killers, and, I'm not saying, we should take pity on them. But, a lot of serial killers, and I've, from shows that I've watched on Netflix and on, just by, doing these true crime videos that I was doing and just started back, a lot of them had some really, really messed up childhoods. And I can't, it just makes you wonder, why, and it kind of gives you an insight as to why, they did what they did. He was treated like an outcast by his own family, and he was teased by other children because he was very large for his size at a very young age, and he was a lonely child, and he showed a propensity for torturing and killing animals. That gives it right off the bat. And and I'm not an expert, but like I said, watching true crime and shows and so forth, that's the first sign right there. Yeah. So he was given less attention than his siblings, and he was treated differently. They moved to Seattle, Washington, and he had trouble fitting in and making friends because of his size. And I have to say, that's got to be hard. And I'm not saying this but that has to be really, really hard for a child to try to make friends, because number one, he's constantly getting picked on because of his size, and he can't find any friends, and I can imagine that it is hard. And I've got something sticky on my pen. Okay, now as early as the age of 5, he would capture and torture animals. He enjoyed watching animals that would kill each other, and he also got the enjoyment from he got the enjoyment from the feeling that it was, the enjoyment. I can't talk. He got joy from watching them kill each other and joy from killing them. So, it's kind of, I don't even know what else to say to that, because, there's really not much you can say to something like that, because it's very, very, weird. This continued when he got older. He would then take stray cats and dogs from around the trailer park, along with birds, and he would severely beat the animals and then strangle them to death. That makes my heart hurt, because don't get me wrong, I love animals, but there are only certain kinds that I like, and it's just sad when okay. So now this desire manifested into 2 attempted murders, and it first happened when he was 10, and he was friends with a boy named Martin, and they would often get into trouble together. And one day, Jesperson claimed that he was punished many times for things that Martin had done, and Martin would blame it on Jesperson. So I'm assuming he had enough, and it led him to attack Martin, and he violently beating him until his father pulled him away. And he later did claim, I don't know who he claimed it to, but he did later claim that he had every intention of killing Martin. And then approximately a year later, he was swimming in a lake when another boy held him underwater until he blacked out. And then sometime later at the public pool, he attempted to drown the boy by holding his head under the water until the lifeguard, pulled him away. I don't know. It just makes me wonder if this kid, I get it, I've said, so many times I was bullied in high school, so I get it. But I don't know if this, all of this is a result of him being bullied. It sounds like it, but I'm not sure. Now, there's another twist to this whole thing, okay? Keith then reported that he was raped at the age of 14. And he graduated from high school in 1973. Now, like I said, it doesn't say anything about, who raped him, or he didn't accuse anybody. He just claimed this. I know, right? So now he graduates from high school in 1973. He didn't attend college because his father didn't believe that he could do it. And he was not successful with girls in high school. He never attended a school dance or a school prom. He did not enter a relationship. He did enter a relationship after high school. And in 1975, when Jesperson was 20, he married Rose Huck, and the couple had 3 children, 2 daughters and 1 son, and he worked as a truck driver. Then several years later into their marriage, Rose then started to basically suspect that he was having an affair or having affairs. And when strange women would call, I'm going to say this, I'm not married, never had, yes, my husband cheated on me and, whatever, but when you got strange women calling your house, what do you expect your wife to think? It's common sense. And first of all, why would you give these women your phone number knowing for a fact that the wife would probably answer the phone? It makes no sense. But then again, so she packed up her stuff. Tension in the marriage did increase, and then after 14 years, while Keith was on the road, she packed up, took her kids, and left. And they moved away, or she moved with her parents in Spokane. And the oldest child, Melissa, was 10, and he continued to spend time with his children when he was in town, and in 1990, the couple did divorce. Then at the age of 35, weighing approximately 240 pounds, he decided that he wanted to work toward his goal of being a Royal Canadian Mounted Policeman. But an injury caused him to end his training, and he sought work again as an interstate truck driver after relocating to Cheney, Washington. Now, this is, mind you, all of this with him being married. He got married to his wife in 1975, okay? And after, all of this, he murders his first victim. And his first known victim was Tijuana Bennett on January the 23rd of 1990 near Portland, Oregon. And he introduced himself at a bar and invited her to the house that he was running. And he brought her home to, do their business, have sex, whatever you want to call it. And when Tijuana refused, he proceeded to strike and beat her. And he was worried that she was going to report this. Well, common sense, I probably would have, knowing, he established an alibi. Oh, then he put his fist in her mouth and killed her. He established an alibi by going back out for some drinks, being sure to be seen by others before returning to retrieve her body and belongings and dispose of them. And then he was back on the road the next day. Now, mind you, he was an interstate trucker. So, even if, and I'm not saying this to, say, oh, cool, this was an advantage, I'm assuming. So, yeah. The body was found. There were 3 suspects, and there were 666 leads. Can you imagine? 3 suspects. Now, was he one of them? I have no idea. But 666 leads? Holy crap. I can just imagine how long it took for them to go through all of that just to narrow it down, or, basically, get rid of, basically not, cross somebody off the list. That's a lot of leads. I mean, holy crap. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it. Jeez, that's a lot of leads, believe me. So now he goes 2.5 years. He goes 2.5 years. He doesn't kill anybody for 2.5 years. And then on 1992 in August, on the 30th, it's a currently unidentified body in California, and he raped her and strangled her, and she was found near Blythe, California. He does later say that his Jane Doe's name was Claudia. And then a month later in Turlock, California, another body was found. A female by the name of Cynthia Lynn Rose was discovered. And he claims she was a sex worker. And she entered his truck at his truck stop while he slept. This is what he claims. Now, if that's the truth, you don't know. Then, his 4th victim was another sex worker by the name of Lori Ann Pentland, of Salem, Oregon. And she was found in November. And according to Jesperson, she attempted to double the fee that she charged. And he engaged with her. The services that he engaged with her. And she threatened to call the police, and he strangled her. Then he waits 6 months before he does this again. In June of 1993, another woman was found identified, or actually no, she's not identified. It's an unidentified female. They have no name for her, and which he claimed her name was Carla, that's the wrong color, and or Cindy. And the police originally considered her death to be a drug overdose. Now, why? I don't know. So now he waits another year, a little over a year, and then in Crestview, Florida, another Jane Doe was found. I mean, really, he's just like all over the place, which, is kind of understandable because, he is an interstate trucker and he's all over the country and so forth. And yeah. So there's another body that was found, and he claims that her name was Suzanne. So now he's arrested on March 30th of 1995 for the murder of Julie Winningham. And he'd been questioned by the police a week before. Now, what led them to this, I don't know. But they had no grounds to arrest him after he refused to talk. Then, the days that followed, he decided that he figured out, okay, I'm getting ready to be arrested for this. And after 2 suicide attempts, so he tried to kill himself twice. Sorry. So after he realized, okay, this isn't going to work, I'm not going to be able to kill myself, I might as well go ahead and just turn myself in. And he does. He turns himself in. And the reason he turns himself in is because he's hoping he will get some leniency. Now, why he hopes that? No idea. While he's in custody, he begins to start, telling things about, different killings that he's done. And a few, and of course, later on he recants. Now, why? The only thing I can think of is, he probably, got a lawyer, or he realized that he wasn't going to get any kind of leniency, which, I don't know why he would think that, especially when he kills himself. Or tries to kill himself. To me, that's a little over the top. And a few days before his arrest, he did write a letter to his brother, and and in it he confessed to 8 people over the course of 5 years. And this, leads the police or several agencies to reopen old cases, and many of them were found to be possible victims of Jesperson. So all because, number one, he, starts, telling, things about cases and, revealing things about what he's done to, women. And then after he recants, he writes a letter. Before he recants, before he's arrested, he writes a letter to his brother. Common sense, I don't know if he thought, okay, my brother's not going to say anything. I don't know, guys. I really, truly don't. It makes me wonder, why. But, I don't know. You don't know what goes on in a mind of some of these people. Now, he even at one point claimed that he had as many as 186 victims. And there were only 8 women were confirmed. And the states for these 8 women were California, Florida, Nebraska, Oregon, Washington, and Wyoming. And he's now serving 3 consecutive life sentences in the Oregon State Penitentiary. And I mean, I don't know why I have no idea. It makes you, it makes you wonder how many more, I mean, like I said, guys, he was an interstate trucker. He got that advantage. That just, now he was convicted in September 2009. He was indicted for murder in California, and then was extradited to California to face those charges, and he's been convicted and has received a 4th life sentence in 2010. Now, Lavonne Pavlinek, now she I don't know if she had anything to do with this. I don't think she really had anything to do with Jesperson in general. And so this is basically another whole complete different case. But I will kind of give you a brief overview of that one. I mean, I might, pull that up later. But because of, the news reports on Jesperson, she then, proceeded to end an abusive relationship, and also how her boyfriend, and I cannot pronounce his last name, so John Sosnovisky, forced her to help him rape and murder and dispose of Bennett's body. So this was early in the Tijuana Bennett, investigation. So I'm not sure if he was the actual person to do it or if Jesperson was. That was kind of up in the air. So yeah, you can, figure that out and take that upon yourself if you would like. I did not get to, research this. That's another thing. I need to research these, a little bit more, so you guys have some more to listen to, or, now, mind you, going back to Tijuana, while all this attention is going on to, Plavnik and her boyfriend, he writes a confession on a bathroom. Jesperson writes a confession on a bathroom wall at a truck stop and signed it with a smiley face. Okay. When that didn't create the attention he desired, he started writing the letters to the media. So basically, like I said, I don't know if this guy and this girl and her boyfriend were doing this for publicity. I really don't know. It doesn't. He wrote he wrote letters, and he even wrote a 6-page letter to the Oregonian in which he did reveal the details of his killings. And he signed each letter with a smiley face. And this is where the reporter from the Oregonian dubbed him the Happy Face Killer. That's how he got his name. Only because of, like I said, he was, putting happy faces on his victims. But that's how he got his name. And that's the other thing. How is it that some of these guys get names? I mean, I just don't understand. But, okay, I guess it makes them, I don't know. Now, Jesperson's daughter appeared on Dr. Phil to talk about her father. And she was also featured on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And they did a movie about him called Monster in My Family. The network series, Monster in My Family from Lifetime. And They also did one on 2020 in 2010. And she did write a book published in 2008, published Shattered Silence, The Untold Story of a Serial Killer's Daughter. And she did live with her father. Now, I did not know this. This wasn't in earlier, in the rest of this, but she did live with her dad. She lived with him until her parents divorced in 1990, and she noticed that her father was different in when she was in elementary school. And she, said that their house bordered an apple orchard, and her dad would kill stray cats and gophers that wandered nearby. And she, watched one day in, horror, and as her dad hung stray kittens from the family's clothesline. And she ran to get her mother, and when, after they came back, the kittens were off the line, and her father was laughing, and because, they clawed at each other to escape, and then he killed them. And, yeah, there's a lot of external links about him. I mean, she did do an episode in Evil Lives Here called Put on a Happy Face, and she did write an article about her father in 2014 for BBC. So yeah, this guy was really, really a piece of work. I mean, really. It's just, and and as I was reading over this, I was like, holy crud, this guy just, yeah. So that's all of that. I know it's a half an hour. I'm sorry. This one was short. So we are going to stop here, and thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see you all next time.